Boogiepop and Others. Is it a good anime? This is Axiom, aka Ryofu, and this is the Gaming Harbinger. And today we are going to talk about the anime Boogiepop and Others. And of course, in case if you didn't notice, this is the first time that I'm in front of the camera. I pretty much made a decision that I wanted to try to do anime videos a little differently. And that is pretty much, rather than show video game footage and talk about an anime, why don't I just get in front of the camera for a little bit and then, show some clips from the anime. And of course, as you guys know, probably even better than I do, that you can run into all sorts of copyright issues. But I think I have found a strategy and hopefully it works. Of course, there's no telling when it comes to YouTube, but leave some comments. Let me know if you like this approach or not. And of course, there's always that possibility that you might be like, I didn't subscribe to look at your fat face. And I might also consider going back to just doing, recording, video game footage and then just talking about whatever anime I'm into. It just depends. I'm just trying and experimenting different things since we're still in the infancy of this channel. And so, so we'll just see how everything goes. So this anime is going to be off of some people's radars, and that's okay. That's okay. This anime is special to me, though. I own Boogiepop Phantom, which came out in 2001, September 11th. Yeah. But anyways, I love that show, so I decided to read some of the light novels as well. I ended up picking up Boogiepop and Others, Boogiepop vs. Imaginator 1, and Boogiepop vs. Imaginator Part 2. Now, Part 2 I never actually got around to reading. And the first two I mentioned, I only read them once, and that, unfortunately, was well over a decade ago. So, the details and everything, I really don't remember, all the little nuances and everything to it. But it left a good impression on me. And I would say that when it comes to Boogiepop, I remember I had this ridiculous thing, because keep in mind, this was like early 2000s, and I might have been like 19, 18. So when I would tell my friends about it, pretty much I was like, man, Serial Experiments Lane, that's like the Matrix. Matrix without the fighting. And then Boogiepop Phantom is like Serial Experiments Lane, but told broken up and shit like a Quentin Tarantino movie. It's fucking awesome. And the question is, was the younger version of me, was I onto something in saying that, or did I just rationalize based off of what I was exposed to at that time and thinking this is what it is or this is what it's about? And my findings might surprise you, because I wasn't really too far off, but at the same time, this is going to be an interesting journey, so let's get into this. So with Boogiepop, there are 22 light novels. We have a live action movie that came out in 2001. Haven't seen that. I would love to see that. Thinking about that time period makes me think, it might be a little cringy. I'm in. And then we have the two anime series, one that came out in 2001, and then this new one that is called Boogiepop and Others, which is the title of the first book, which came out this year. Okay, so Boogiepop is a Shinigami that he pretty much takes out people before they become enemies of the world. Now, the thing to keep in mind with this is, or I should say, amongst the high school students, the rumor is Boogiepop will come and kill beautiful people before they become ugly. And of course, that statement within itself, and I'm paraphrasing because I didn't articulate it exactly, but pretty much he kills them at the height of their beauty before they can turn ugly. And of course, high school students and whatnot, it's a little misinterpreted, but they have an idea of what is going on, but not quite also. And it doesn't mean it on a superficial level. It really means Boogiepop appears, and it's sort of like, I guess you could say, like a possession thing, because he or she is possessing this girl and takes over this person's body whenever an enemy of the world has come to be. But the thing is, the goal for Boogiepop is to take out this person that, and by beauty they mean, I guess, beauty of the soul is good, and take them out before they turn to the dark side. And that's essentially what Boogiepop is. While all that is going on, there's also the Tower organization that is looking for people that are, I guess you would say, above and beyond natural abilities, above natural intelligence, above, at the average person's physical abilities. And so while that's going on, Boogiepop, he or she is doing their thing. And there's also rumors, and just like anything in real life, the rumors aren't entirely accurate. So there's that miscommunication going on. And then there's this organization taking out people and killing people. So it kind of causes confusion within itself. But it's fascinating nonetheless. But I will be honest with you. The story is actually like, the backdrop isn't super amazing, but I would say it's not so much the premise, but it's more about how characters' lives are affected and how they react to certain circumstances. It's not that these humans with the special abilities or significantly more evolved than a regular human being, it's not that they're inherently evil. It's really that once they realize that they have an edge or an advantage, that they kind of become a little corrupted with that power. And all of them have weird and unique abilities. There's one guy that he kind of eats the poison, or it's really metaphorically a bug, but really, I guess you could say it's the pain and sorrow in their lives. And he eats that. And of course, you can guess what, with the symbolism and everything, what would that translate for somebody that would be eating that from other people? Of course, the good part would be that he's taking the pain out of these people's lives. But even taking negative memories out of someone has an effect on them. And also, you taking all this negative energy, that's going to affect you. And that happens to one of the characters. And you just find that some of them had good intentions, and then they end up being consumed by the very thing that gives them power or makes them feel like, hey, I have this special thing or whatever. And that's one of the things that makes Boogiepop fascinating, is that it kind of examines the gray areas in life. It's an examination of that. So it's not really about black and white, good, evil, because people change and sometimes you just make bad decisions, based off of your circumstances, based off of your experiences. And it's a really, really interesting take. So I want to cover the timeline for Boogiepop. Pretty much, first I want to explain to you exactly the order that things were released in terms of the light novels. And then, if you're crazy enough, I will explain to you exactly, sequentially, how everything happens. So the first part will be Boogiepop and Others came out. That was the first book. Then we got to Boogiepop vs. Imaginator Part 1. Then Boogiepop vs. Imaginator Part 2. Then Boogiepop in the Mirror. Then Boogiepop Overdrive, The King of Distortion. Then Boogiepop at Dawn. Boogiepop at Dawn is actually the intro or the prequel to the series, by the way. And that actually, if I'm not mistaken, that has just been released recently. So that's hasn't ever been stateside till 2019. So that's pretty cool. And after that, there are a bunch of more light novels. Like I told you, there's like 22, I believe, right now. But after that, Peppermint Wizard onward are light novels that never came stateside. So, yeah. Now, let's go to how you could watch or read things in the order that they happen in. So obviously, like I said, Boogiepop at Dawn is the intro to the whole series, which is, I guess you could say, like a prequel, which, by the way, is also in this new anime. That little arc is in there, which is pretty cool. So we have Boogiepop at Dawn. Then it jumps to Boogiepop and Others. And then we go to the Boogiepop Phantom anime episodes 1 through 11. Boogiepop vs. Imaginator. Then Boogiepop Overdrive, King of Distortion. And then last, Boogiepop Phantom episode 12. And that would really conclude the timeline of the series. And that's if you wanted to watch everything the way it happens, you know. Which, like I said, I wouldn't even bother with that. But I wanted to point it out that gives you an idea of how much this series jumps around and stuff. In fact, I would recommend you're better off when you're listening to each story, take them individually. You know what I mean? Take them as bite-sized stories, as opposed to taking them as something that's like, you know, this huge thing, which it is. It most certainly all connects together, but I think you're just going to give yourself a difficult time if you're trying to, you know, be like, okay, this goes with this and this goes with that. Okay, I'm confused now. And as opposed to just take it one at a time. All right, so this part, pretty much what I'm going to tell you is this anime decent? Is it good? And especially, more importantly, a lot of people will say, do I have to watch all this other stuff? Do I have to read all this other stuff? So the good news, I'm going to just get it out there now, that this anime, I personally feel like they did a good job. I like the animation. I like the character models. I can't say anything bad about that. And I feel like they cover, you know, multiple of the early novels. The ones pretty much that are coming stateside, you get an opportunity to watch them happen, you know, in an anime. And I think that's pretty cool. When you look at that, you'll say, hey, it's pretty good. It seems like it's more fluid than the anime that came out in 2001. But, and with saying that, your reaction probably would be, well, damn, does that mean it's better than the one that came out in 2001? About that. So I took it upon myself to rewatch the 2001 Boogiepop Phantom, because I was like, I kind of remember this being a little darker. Not necessarily, like, Boogiepop isn't necessarily about violence. There is violence, of course, in it. But it's like you're not really there for fight or spectacles, you know. This isn't an action anime by any stretch of the imagination. But I had this impression in my head that Boogiepop was kind of like a thriller, suspense, horror, you know, kind of dark. And then when I watched this new one, I was kind of like, it has mysterious aspects to it, but it doesn't feel like the scariness or the unnerving nature, it doesn't feel like it's there anymore. About that. Oh man. Yeah. What the fuck was that? I don't know. I don't know what that was. But yeah, so you can see that, the original is definitely darker, and by darker I don't mean more violent, but it's just unnerving how it's presented, how the presentation of it all. The newer one, it does have a prettier art style, nice looking characters, and this other one it chooses certain colors and stuff. It's a little more low budget, but how painstakingly it's put together and intertwined, and everything's told, broken up, really broken up. Boogiepop and Others is definitely broken up to some extent, but it's very streamlined in comparison to the 2001 release. And like I said, in some ways that's a good thing, but in other aspects, it kind of feels like we're missing some things. It's also important to note that Boogiepop and Others possibly does a better job of following the light novels than Boogiepop Phantom. And I'm only saying that because I really don't remember the little nuances of the two light novels that I read. So there is that possibility that the vibe and the energy might be closer to what we're seeing with this newer anime than was the original Boogiepop Phantom, which, had some jarring and crazy moments that were unpredictable. And then, of course, what would it be if I didn't get to watch Moto wash her hands again? Seriously, like, why are we watching her wash her hands so many damn times? But nah, actually, after rewatching this, I kind of realized, oh, she's a germaphobe. I really wasn't picking up on that. But now that I know that, and what this poor girl goes through, it's kind of like, hey, I got some bad news for you. There's a cruel, dirty world waiting for you. I got nothing else for you. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, this is a good solid outing in terms of this anime, the newer version. But I would just keep in mind it does take place and follow, the earlier books, which is good. And then Boogiepop Phantom takes place, in a different time zone within the Boogiepop series, but it definitely fits in there, and it's a little bit darker, a little bit more abstract, and you can see why people say, when they think of Boogiepop, they relate it to Serial Experiments Lain. And I will say that it is similar to Serial Experiments Lain, but there were just some times in that show Lain was just staring at the freaking wall or staring outside aimlessly for no damn reason. You know what I'm talking about. Nah, come on, guys. Lighten up. Let me get these jokes off, okay? Okay? You know I'm a fan of, so ease off. Did I forget to mention in the original, they had these really cool, like, sonar pulses. They're like light motifs, and it also has some industrial music in it, pretty effing cool. And but the intro, not industrial, is this super vibing jazz tune. It's pretty nice. It's kind of strange that they chose that as the opening, but it works, man. It's a cool track, really vibing. I actually like that track over the one that the 2019 release has. Just me. while I did say that Boogiepop and Others has solid animation, there are some parts like you'll see in this segment here where the animation looks a little weird or janky, so to speak. And I believe part of this is a stylistic choice. And another part of this is also, this is really just not a high budget anime. So they put their efforts into making, you know, when you actually see the characters up close, look really nice. But then when they're far away, it doesn't look as nice. But hey, overall, it looks amazing. The conclusion is, should you watch this show? Of course you should watch this show. No, but it's not for everyone, of course, like I've said. And it is not action-y by any means. So this is for a certain type of people. Weirdos like me. But this is for a certain type of people. So if you're looking for action, if you're looking for guns blazing and stuff, you're not going to get that here. It's not that type of thing. It's kind of a psychological anime, you know, some horror elements, some thriller aspects to it, you know, but it's definitely entertaining. And like I said, really, if you think about it, this Boogiepop and Others, this anime is actually probably a good starting point for a lot of people. And you might feel more comfortable watching this first as opposed to jumping right into Boogiepop Phantom, because the difference is a little striking. And Boogiepop Phantom is a little unnerving at times. And I think that's a fair statement. That doesn't mean it's just like so hardcore and so trippy and so violent. That's not really the case. But even the audio landscape and how they use sound and do things, you know, to just make it seem eerie and creepy, and how they use ghosting and just all kinds of stuff. But I think that's going to do it. I mean, if you feel like what I described to you is awesome, hit that like button. And if you're like, I'm going to pass, hey, I just gave you the information you need to not waste your time. So hit the like button anyways. But that's going to do it, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time to check out this video. And yeah, if you like this style that I just did here, then let me know in the comments. I know this is kind of my first time in front of the camera, so yeah, I mean, my energy might be a little off than how I sound when I do the audio ones, but I look forward to doing this. And like I said, this series is special to me. So hopefully, you know, this will not be the last one. Nah, it won't be the last one. I'll do this again for sure. But I appreciate you for checking out the video. I will see you in the next one.